Curb skating has exploded in popularity, and today we'll be diving into why it's become such a huge part of modern skateboarding. We'll be covering the history, the legends, and why curbs are perfect for skateboarders of all skill levels. I'm also going to be trying to learn a bunch of new slappy grinds on this sick little curb here, so let's get into it. So what exactly makes curb skating so appealing and so popular? I've got 5 main reasons why I think that is. First of all, learning how to skate slappy curbs has a low barrier to entry, so you don't have to be an experienced skateboarder to start learning how to slappy grind or slappy slide. The most basic version as well, you can just learn how to do ride-on grinds, which is technically counted as a slappy grind, even though you're not slapping up the curb onto it. So anyone at any skill level can learn how to do slappies. Second reason is it is very low impact and low effort. You can skate a slappy curb for hours on end and not feel like you've been hit by a bus by the end of the session. You don't have to ollie and pop onto the actual curb. And if you bail and fall, you're just stepping off onto the ground. You're so close to the ground. So there's very low impact and very low effort, which makes it very appealing to older people since you don't get so sore and you don't have to try as hard. Number 3 is the potential to advance your tricks and learn hard combos. So there's actual professional skateboarders that are out there doing slappy grinds. They're not just mucking around doing little board slides and stuff. They're actually doing really technical tricks on slappy curbs. So there's a lot of potential to get really good at slappies and progress the tricks that you're doing. Number 4 is that slappy curbs are becoming a lot more accessible and easy to find now. A lot of newer skate parks are actually adding slappy curbs into their design, just like the park I'm at today. So they're becoming more common at skate parks. Plus, if you go to any massive parking lot or car park, depending on where you live, Americans call it a parking lot. Here in Australia, we call it a car park. But it's highly likely that you will find some slappy curbs in the car park. And if you're lucky enough, they've already been prepped and waxed and ready to skate. The 5th reason I believe that slappy grinds are getting so popular is because it has a direct carryover to skating rails, ledges, and transition as well. So there's low effort used to get onto slappy curbs, but you're also learning how to lock in and how to have your weight when you're grinding and sliding, which will transfer over to when you're locking into rails, ledges, and coping in transition. So I've actually learned tricks on rails and ledges that I learned from a slappy curb first. A big one being the board slide to hurricane. I could never do that, and then I learned it on curbs, and then I learned how to ollie into it on a rail, and then that kind of transferred into me learning how to ollie into hurricane grinds. So the skill carryover from curbs can be taken into other aspects of skateboarding. Let me know if there's any other reasons why you think curb skating has blown up in popularity so much in the comments below. But I want to get into learning the first bunch of new slappy tricks that I have in mind for today. Then I'll go over the history of slappy grinds, some of the top curb skaters that are still advancing curb skating in this day and age, and how to prep your own slappy curb if you're like me and you don't have perfectly painted and ready to go curbs in your country. I've always wanted to learn slappy blunt slide, so I'm going to start with that. Pretty hyped on that. I would like it to be up a bit more and go longer, so I'll try a few more, but I'm definitely taking that one if I can't get a better one. That's the one. Hyped on that. It's more of a tail, but I just wanted to learn that initially, so I've got it in the bag. I'll practice it again another day, but let's move on to the next trick. Definitely claiming that because I've never done that trick before, but it was very much of an unpinched crook, so I want to get a little bit of a cleaner one. Getting better. Almost the one. That's the one. Felt like I was in control the whole time. Now some of those nose slides were feeling like nose blunts, as if I could kind of pop over and transfer. So I'm going to give that a few tries and hopefully we can get that one, because that would feel so cool. We're so on for this one. That actually felt so good and I'm so hyped about that. That's 3 new slappy tricks now, so we're doing well. So John Lucero, pro skater from the 80s and the founder and owner of Black Label Skateboards, is highly credited to being the creator of the slappy grind back in the 80s, which he denies full credit to because there was a bunch of those guys doing similar things on curbs back in the day.
Did I invent the slappy? I hope not, man.
I've always said John made it up. John says I made it up.
I named it the slappy. You know, that's what I always called it.
But the legend goes that John was kicked out of the skate park one day and restricted to the car park. So because he was so hyped to skate, he just started bashing up into curbs and using what he had, which was only the curbs and the gutters there. And he started riding up them like tiny little quarter pipes and stalling on the top of them. These are the earliest accounts of people using curbs like this and sparked the actual possibilities and potential of curb skating. And since ollies were still kind of new and not as common as they are today, this technique of wall riding and bashing your board up on top of the curb became so popular from this point on. It was also an alternative to practicing your coping tricks for people that couldn't get to the skate park or didn't own a backyard ramp. So it's actually crazy to think that actual vert skaters were practicing their stalls on curbs. Now, curb skating kind of fizzled out in the 90s with the progression of the ollies and the possibilities that that brought with it. This kind of left slappies and curb skating to pretty much skaters that are in their 30s and above because of the low impact and low effort that we talked about already. But over the last 15 years, the popularity of curb skating has come flooding back. So this old style of skating that was primarily done by the 30+ crowd over the years had been adopted not only by the younger crowd, but also by skaters of all different skill levels. And this trend just continues to grow to this day. I'd say this is for a number of reasons that I'll get into right now. Number one, people have realized how fun and how easy it is to get into curb skating. Like I said, it comes with super low impact and a low effort to get into grinds and start doing them. Number two, the progression of rail and ledge skating these days has actually opened up more possibilities of what's able to be done on curbs. So people are getting real technical on curbs these days. Three is that the growth of social media and you're able to see what's going on around the world. So curb skating has been spread out there in the internet and people are seeing how cool and fun it looks, and it's just growing more and more in popularity. Number four, I would say, is that the adaptation to street skating and the acceptance of curb skating in your street parts. So I've watched a lot of pro street parts lately where they have a lot of ride-on grinds, slappy grinds, and they're actually pretty gnarly too. And the acceptance of this in the industry, I think people are warming up to, and it's opening up the possibilities for it. And more people are wanting to get into curb skating since their favorite pros are doing it. Number five, I would say, is that in skateboarding, every decade or so, all of the trends just seem to come back around anyway. So curb skating was super popular in the 80s, fizzled out a little bit in the 90s, but a couple decades later, it's coming back in full force right now. So it could have a lot to do with the way that the trends in skateboarding just seem to recycle themselves and come back around. And the final reason I'd say is because of people that are curb skating so well and pushing the boundaries and the limits of it to this day right now. So curb skating is starting to stand out a lot more. There are so many iconic curb skaters around these days that continue to push the limits of slappies and bring their own unique flavor to curb skating as well. A few of my favorites that I have to mention is obviously Abe Bethel. He's pretty much every curb skater's favorite curb skater that stands out from the massive amount of speed that he hits and the unbelievable combos that he's able to pull off. Ace Pelka, who is an absolute curb wizard, he continues to drop gnarly parts that are pretty much just curb skating too, so I'm really digging the stuff that he's doing. And I'd have to add in Ira Ingram, who has earned his title as the curb killer for good reason. He absolutely shreds, he's got sick combos as well, and he's showing us that us bigger guys can still get down and still get technical on curbs. And it's just heaps fun and a lot more relatable to watch all these guys shred curbs rather than watching all these crazy pros jump down the biggest rails and stairs and stuff. It's just way more enjoyable to watch for me. Now, I'll have a video linked at the end of this video showing you guys how to prep your own ledge and slappy curb using a rub brick, lacquer, and some wax. But I want to get into learning a few more slappy grinds while I'm here, so let's get back into that. I don't know where that came from, but I'm taking that 100%. Now I want to go to back lip since I've got that backwards kind of motion going. So hopefully slappy crook to back lip will work out just as easy. That one felt cool. One last thing, I want to do slappy crook, pop it up into board slide, and then turn it into hurricane. So let's try and finish on a 3-piece slappy combo. That was so close for only like my 3rd try. We definitely got that one. That definitely wasn't perfect, but it was clean enough for me, and I'm so keen to get that trick because I've never done it before. I'm actually so hyped on all of the new slappies I've learned today, and this has ended up being such a good session. So as someone that skates mainly rails and ledges, almost 100 kilos, and is quickly approaching their mid-30s, skating curbs is right up my alley. Not having to ollie onto the curb and the low impact that comes with skating them allows me to have so much fun, skate curbs for hours on end, and not actually feel like I've been hit by a bus after a full skate session. For me, curb skating is about creativity, having fun, and progressing in skateboarding without the risk factor and the danger that comes with it. You can still get broke off if you underestimate a slappy curb, but there's way less chance of getting injured. It's super low impact and low effort to get onto the curb, so it's just overall super fun for me. And I had so much fun today, so hyped to learn all of those new tricks, and there's a high chance that those tricks that I learned today will carry over into other ledge and rail tricks. I don't know how to do a blunt slide on a ledge or crooked grind back 180. Some of that stuff that I just learned today can definitely transfer onto other obstacles and be a gateway to progression. If you haven't tried curb skating yet, grab some wax, go find some curbs, and start bashing your trucks up into some slappy grinds. You won't regret getting into this style of skating, especially if you're an older guy that doesn't want to take impact, or you just like having fun on your board. Check out this video right here to see what you need to prep a new ledge, which also applies to a brand new slappy curb too.